Hi and welcome. So in this video today, I wanted to give you a little update after living in Sweden 3 whole months. I know it's not a long time, but I think it's quite interesting to see what it is like when someone new moved to Sweden and what their journey looks like, just a few months in, and then down the line compared to living a few years in Sweden. So that's why I'm documenting my journey here in Sweden from the very beginning. There are already a few videos out there from kind of the first week in Sweden till now 3 months in Sweden. And I will just talk about my thoughts, my discoveries, but also tips when you move to Sweden, what you have to do and what are the processes. If you're new to my channel, my name is Julie and I'm originally from Germany, as you maybe can hear with my accent, but I used to live in London, UK for 10 years, and then 3 months ago I moved to Stockholm. So yeah, if you have any questions, then please don't hesitate to leave a comment down below and I'm happy to look at them and maybe make a video with the answers. So yeah, as I said, 3 months doesn't sound very long, but it definitely feels longer. I feel I have been living in Sweden for much longer than 3 months. Just to give you a background, I didn't move alone. I moved with my partner who actually got a job here and with my almost 3-year-old daughter. We stayed in an Airbnb for 2 months and then about a month ago we moved into our rental property. I did make a video about the house tour, so if you want to have a look and know more about prices, then feel free to watch that video. Okay, let's go through a few thoughts I have after living in Sweden for 3 months. So the first one is actually about COVID-19. That maybe comes as a surprise because it's not only about Sweden, but I feel like it's a very special situation and it has been going on and it definitely also affects our lives. So it wouldn't be real if I didn't mention it. One thing I actually discovered, before we came to Sweden, we had the impression that, Sweden is very liberal, kind of COVID doesn't exist here or people are not having any rules. So it's very different from every country. But I found that it's actually not that true and they just handled in a different way and you could still feel it. And I wanted to just quickly talk about that. So yeah, while there were not proper lockdowns or more recommendations rather than rules, I did notice that, there are no events whatsoever and there's still not really big events either. I mean, maybe smaller events in restaurants or, smaller clubs or something like that. And at the moment I see, for example, all my friends in the UK go to festivals, and it looks so normal and still we don't have that here in Sweden. So I feel like people should know that, that it is a bit of a difference. And it's not that Sweden is doing whatever and kind of ignoring COVID-19. And yeah, I could also see some restrictions, when it came to restaurants. Yes, they were open the entire time, but either you could only sit outside or you were restricted in the number of people inside. It has changed a little bit. I think every month there are some new kind of regulations. So since we moved here, it's not that strict anymore. But yeah, I can see it also still with shops. It's only allowed a limited number of people in the shops. It's not a big deal, but it still exists and you can't just say, Sweden is not doing anything to have some measures to prevent, people getting infected. And yes, masks are not a big thing. You could see that around the world, this is, I know from Germany that people feel really strong about it and they feel limited and they have freedom and there were protests and that kind of stuff. And here it's not mandatory, it's voluntary, it's a recommendation. And I feel like only really people who maybe are foreigners are wearing really masks. So that's definitely true that it's not a big deal here in Sweden. And one thing which actually surprised me quite a bit when I talked to a friend the other day, she was saying that pretty much all of her friends had COVID. And then she asked me how many people I know. And I said maybe 3, in the UK. So that was very interesting to hear. She told me that everyone was doing antibody tests, to see if they had COVID, and it was just not a thing in the UK. I didn't even hear about that it was an option. So I never tested myself or know of anyone who tested themselves and who then said they had COVID. So I thought that was very interesting to just know about. I still don't know to this day if I had it. I was ill in, I think, end of February, beginning of March 2020 when everything started, and it wasn't super big in the news yet. I was a bit ill, but I didn't have any breathing problems. I was just down for a few days. So I still don't know if I had it. And obviously doing the antibody test now wouldn't bring much if I didn't have it in the last 6 months. Last but not least, one area where I also noticed a bit of a difference was actually in kindergarten. My daughter had a little bit of a cold and was pretty much sent home straight away, which was a little bit annoying, and I had to really get used to it, because she literally just had a little runny nose and coughed like 2 times a day. I've never seen it that mild, but still I was sent home to be home for like 2 days, which is absolutely crazy, obviously, when you work. So yeah, in kindergarten they're actually quite strict, and that is because of COVID-19. Even if the child doesn't have COVID-19, they're very cautious and are sending kids home. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the weather. I feel this will be a topic I want to talk about regularly, because it is quite important for people who want to move here. There are cold winters, and how are the summers and how long do they last? Although if you think you talk to someone about the weather, it could be a bit boring, but I think in Sweden it's not boring. It's actually an essential to talk about it, so people know what's going on. And obviously, as I just said, I will talk about it more because now I have already experienced the summer, and it will be very interesting to see what the winter looks like. But one thing I actually noticed was that the peak summer months really were here in June and July, at least this year. And then August already calmed down a little bit. It rained a little bit more for sure, and it wasn't that hot weather anymore. Although I also was told that the hot weather, I think it was almost like 30 degrees in like June or July. It's not very usual. It is normally a little bit cooler during the summer. But yeah, in August, no one was at the beach anymore, so I could see that. And in the UK, actually, August is a peak summer month. And then also normally, now September is coming up, UK, or at least London, is very, very beautiful. I thought it's quite a golden autumn month, September, so I'm quite curious what it is here like in Sweden. So I will keep you updated in a month. And another thing I noticed with the weather, so it obviously rains here every now and then, and everyone is so prepared, with their rain jackets. And I wondered a little bit, like, why people in the UK, in London, didn't have these awesome rain jackets. It's definitely raining a little bit more than here in Sweden. So I don't know. I'm prepared now. I bought a rain jacket and even some waterproof shoes for probably the first time in my life. Yeah, I know it sounds really weird. But yeah, I don't know if it's because you live in a city and you rather have an umbrella, and maybe you just have short distances you walk and you don't really want to walk in the rain. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting discovery, something very small, maybe insignificant, but I just wanted to let you know what I thought about it. And yeah, one thing, I maybe talked about this a little bit in other videos, I don't know, but it's the nature here in Stockholm, being surrounded by nature, forests, and living close to lakes or the sea. It's so new to me. I still find it very fascinating. And although I live in Stockholm and not even like in the countryside, it's so beautiful, and something I actually didn't know I really wanted. So living closer to nature, I think, really started when we moved to Stockholm. We decided then consciously we wanted to actually have a rental property closer to nature, so maybe a little bit more in the countryside. I say we live a bit more in the countryside because it does feel like the countryside. And proof is really when my daughter said in the morning, "Where are all the people gone?" So I feel like we do live a little bit more in the countryside. And for a long time, I didn't really want it. I'm a city girl, most of my life actually I lived in a city, although I had a few years where I lived in the countryside with my parents who moved there. But that experience actually made me want to move back to cities because, it was boring and that kind of stuff. But now I totally changed my mind, and moving to Sweden definitely helped me finding what I really want. Of course, we only live here 3 months, and our focus was a lot on sorting things out, all that bureaucracy stuff. So I still feel we haven't even explored nature properly. So now winter is coming, but especially next year in summer, I can't wait to explore it more, getting out of Stockholm even, and really immerse ourselves in nature. I don't know, I feel so excited about it. For so many it's so usual, but for me, coming from London and then moving here, it's something really new to me. And we also like camping, so if you have any recommendations where to go next year, then please leave a comment below. I will appreciate it. And then of course, we only live here 3 months, but let's talk a little bit about people and making friends. For many people, the social life is very important, and it is very important to us. We do not have our families here, so making friends and having friends is really crucial. And we know also from science and how the human being works, having a social life is really important for your well-being. I can get sometimes quite nerdy reading about that, but you can even feel it. You want to have friends you can hang out with, you can talk to. Your partner is sometimes not enough. We do need a village. As I mentioned in previous videos already, we are very lucky that we already have friends here. So that definitely helps a lot, to feel a bit more home here. And my partner works in an office, and he has made quite a lot of connections within his workspace. He went out with his colleagues a few times and really had fun connecting with other people. Unfortunately, I'm not that lucky because I'm working from home most of the time. I'm talking about events not taking place at the moment. I can feel it, I would love to maybe just go to an evening event or an event during the day just to connect with people, and it's not happening right now, but I'm very hopeful that this will happen very soon. And yeah, I basically joined a group, which was actually set up for spouses where the partner has a job. But again, it was summer, so they barely had any events, and then there were COVID restrictions as well. So nothing happened there too much, so I hope this will pick up now in autumn as well. And then I mentioned an app I'm using at the moment. It's called Go Friendly, and it's only for women who can actually connect and make friends. And I already have talked to a few women. I haven't met up with anyone yet, but I will keep you updated if that's any good and if I can actually make friends through that app. And then also my partner is going to football with my daughter very soon, so hopefully he has a chance to maybe make some new parent friends there. So yeah, I just wanted to update you, what could your social life look like after living here 3 months? It definitely takes some effort and of course also time to make some friends. I hope in a few months I can tell you more if we made some friends. We definitely put some effort into integrating ourselves in the Swedish community. And last but not least, I just wanted to give you a little bit an update about, the very exciting part, bureaucracy, where we are at the moment, what we have done in these 3 months, just to give you a bit of a picture of what's doable or what you can expect. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos, we got our personnummer, which is really great. This is kind of the first thing you really want. Now we have to get our ID cards. An appointment is scheduled at the beginning of September. And so hopefully when we got those, we can have our bank ID and Swish and all that great stuff Sweden offers. But yeah, we have slowly learned to be a bit more patient, and just go with the flow and wait for our turn. It can take a little bit of adjustment depending on where you're coming from. It's definitely not as bad, and now summer has ended as well. I mentioned it in my previous videos that summer is a bit of a bad time because everyone is on holiday, but that's ending now, so things should also go a little bit faster, although COVID is also not helping with everything. So you just have to live and deal with those challenges in life. But I'm actually going to start learning Swedish officially from next week. I signed up for an SFI course, which was recommended by you, so thank you. I will definitely keep you updated if it's any good, you know, what you can expect from that, and then also update you on my progress in learning the language. I'm definitely quite excited to go back to school, you know, to learn something. I haven't done that in a while. Yes, I'm actually that old, but yeah, I'm excited to learn Swedish, and I will let you know how it goes. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to update you what it is like to live in Sweden after 3 months, a very short period of time, but it definitely feels longer. I hope you will have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Stay safe. Hej då!